on my way north to visit the troops. It was cold and raining. Darkness had almost fallen on the blacked out streets. I saw everywhere long queues of people, among them hundreds of young girls in their silk stockings and high-heeled shoes, who had worked hard all day and were waiting for bus after bus, which came by already overcrowded, in the hopes of reaching their homes for the night. And when at that moment the doleful wail of the siren betokened the approach of the German bombers, I confess to you that my heart bled for London and the Londoners. And all this sort of thing went on for more than 4 months, with hardly any intermission. I used to hold a meeting, as my ministerial colleagues who are present will remember, of all the ministers and authorities concerned every week in Downing Street in order to check up and see how we stood. And sometimes the gas had failed over large areas, the only means of cooking for great numbers of people. Sometimes the electricity. There were grievous complaints about the shelters and about the conditions in them. Water was cut off, railways were cut or broken, large districts were destroyed by fire, 20,000 people were killed, and many more thousands were wounded. But there was one thing about which there was never any doubt. The courage, the unfaltering, unconquerable grit and stamina of the Londoners showed itself from the very outset. Without that, all would have failed. But upon that rock, all stood unconquerable. All the public services were carried on, and all the intricate arrangements, far-reaching, detailed, involving the daily lives of so many millions, were carried out, were improvised, elaborated, and perfected in the very teeth of the cruel, devastating storm. I am very glad to come here today to pay my tribute and to record in the name of His Majesty's government our gratitude to all the civil authorities of London, who first under Sir John Anderson and from the darkest moment under the courageous and resourceful leadership of Mr. Herbert Morrison, so long master of the London County Council, and now acting in even larger spheres, all of whom carried out their duties faithfully, skillfully, and devotedly, so that at last we made our way through the tempest and came, for the time being, at any rate, into a calm spell. During her long ordeal, ladies and gentlemen, London was upheld by the sympathy and the admiration of the other great cities of our island, and let us not forget our loyal Belfast in Northern Ireland. And when, after the enemy wearied of his attack on the capital and turned to other parts of the country, it is no extravagance of speech to say that many of us, in our hearts, felt anxiety lest the weight of attack concentrated upon these smaller organisms would prove more effective than when directed upon London. London is so vast and so strong that she is like a prehistoric monster into whose armored hide showers of arrows can be shot in vain. But a frightful measure of cruelty has been inflicted upon the great cities and seaports of the country. And I say here, when we are entitled to speak of London affairs particularly, I say here that we honor them for their constancy in a comradeship of suffering, of endurance, and of triumph. That comradeship under this unprecedented, novel pressure, hideous pressure, applied to modern communities, has united us all, and it has proved to the world the quality of our island life. I have no doubt whatever, as I said to the forces, the civil defense forces in Hyde Park this morning, that the behavior of the British people under this trial gained them conquests in the mind, the spirit, sympathy of the United States of America, which swept into an ignominious corner all the finest tropes of Goebbels' propaganda. And some months ago, I requested my right honorable friend, the Home Secretary and Minister of Home Security, and his principal colleagues, the Minister of Health and others, to make every preparation for the autumn and winter war as if we should have to go through the same ordeal as last year, only rather worse. I am assured that everything is being done in accordance with those directions. The shelters are being strengthened, improved, lighted, and warmed. All arrangements for fire control and fire watching are being improved perpetually. Many new arrangements are being contrived as the result of the hard experience through which we have passed, and the many mistakes, no doubt, we have made. For success is the result of making many mistakes and learning from experience. Mankind.